Welcome to the Mukilteo Football Show. My name is Miles. The Miami Dolphins defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers 16-10. One team caught their interceptions and the other did not. Miami takes advantage of the bad Pickett throws. Pittsburgh does not take advantage of the bad Tua throws. You know, we're thinking, at first we thought this was going to be a blowout. Thinking, oh, Tua's back. Mike McDaniel's cooking. He's whirling and wheeling and dealing. Oh my gosh, the Dolphins look so good. But then it kind of goes back to reality. There goes gravity. You know, Tua, it's amazing he didn't have a multi-interception day. But the Steelers defensive backs soaked in a tub of butter last night, it seems. The butter bath. But, you know, the Dolphins, it's hard to get too excited about it because it was a 16-10 sort of punt fest. No points in the second half at all. And why? Why is Tua struggling so much? Really, except for the one game, the comeback against the Ravens, which had two fully blown coverages, remember? So you call it a 6-touchdown game, but really there were two gifts from the Ravens. Why don't they look good? With Tyreek Hill, with Jalen Waddle, a feared wide receiver duo. Speed. I mean, Tua's got 3 games with 1 touchdown each. And he won't go down either. He's leading with the crown of his helmet. Into linebackers, into safeties. Why, Tua? Oh my God, why? It's like not just the television viewing experience that we're all cringing about, but also he said he was going to play smart. And he isn't. He isn't. It's hard to get excited about the Dolphins. Tua will get hurt again. He just doesn't have his wits about him out there. You know, I mean, it's just hard to get excited because Tua will be gone again. Just like he was in 2020, just like he was in 2021, he will be again in 2022. Tua Tagovailoa will not finish this season. I guarantee you. I will eat a bowl of spaghetti if he does. And yes, I know that's not really any kind of threat. Steelers side, Kenny Pickett, also throwing interceptions, as I said. His were caught. He didn't look great again. You know, the memes are coming out about his tiny hands. For one, I don't care about the tiny hands, but I do care about the fact that he had only one good college season. It was his super senior season, a season he wouldn't have been eligible for had COVID not happened. If COVID doesn't happen, then Kenny Pickett finishes his career at Pitt with 38 touchdowns and 24 interceptions in 35 games. His last 35 games. 38 touchdowns in his real junior year, in his real senior year. That's crazy. That's 1 touchdown a game. That's Tua numbers in the NFL. Dan Marino is in the house. Another Pitt QB who the Steelers absolutely should have drafted in 1983. Maybe that's why they took Pickett. Collinsworth was kind of talking about, Pickett, he was with Pittsburgh College and they shared practice facility with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, you hear the good buzz in the building and, they got the inside intel. It's like, is that actually good? I don't know if that's good. You're just assuming that because you know more about this player because they're in the building, that they're better than the country of quarterbacks out there. That always... I don't know, that's not a good thing to me, to take the guy who happens to be near you because you happen to know more about him through those circumstances. Anyway, no points in the second half, so be it. I do want to talk about the occasion tonight, the ceremony and the stuff that they had for the 1972 Dolphins. Sunday Night Football, it's been 50 years since the 72 Dolphins who won the Super Bowl with an undefeated regular season. They remain the only undefeated team in NFL history. They were honored at pregame. Larry Zonka, Brian Griese, Paul Warfield, Little, they were walking out there at Tua for the coin toss. That was so cool. 72 Dolphins team remains the only undefeated team. It's pretty interesting. And actually, it's kind of interesting that Pittsburgh was the opponent. Because there may have been some old Steelers fans who felt some pain here today. You know, because you think about this as it was kind of billed as like the 72 Dolphins, you know, isn't it nostalgic? They're playing against their rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know, who were dominant in the 70s, won 4 Super Bowls. But the actual 72 Steelers was a tale of heartbreak. The Steelers sucked. They were the laughing stock of the NFL. They didn't have any success. They were the team that cut Johnny Unitas, who then became really the first NFL superstar. Then, in 72, they finally start to get a good team. Mean Joe Green, Terry Bradshaw's still young, but they just have this dominant defense. They win the divisional matchup against the John Madden Raiders, of course. That's the Immaculate Reception game. The game after that, they go to the AFC title game. They lose to the 72 Dolphins. Think about the pain that Pittsburgh must have had there. It's washed over now because the Steelers win the Super Bowls, you know, 74, 75, 78, 79. But in 72, they don't know that. They've had no success. They have this miracle win over the Raiders. And then they lose to the Dolphins in the AFC title game. And that's the matchup that we're seeing tonight that some old Steelers fans may have been feeling. Yeah. I don't know. I like the 72 Dolphins. It's kind of like an American romantic record. Undefeated, never beaten. You know, and it's still undisputed, even though it kind of could be disputed because the 72 Dolphins only played 14 games. So their total record was 17-0. You know, like the New England Patriots, the 2007 New England Patriots, they went 18-1. They had an undefeated regular season. They actually won more games than the 72 Dolphins. But their loss was the Super Bowl. You know, you can't claim a perfect season if you lose the Super Bowl. Maybe if it was a meaningless Week 17 game, there could be some dispute. You know, and then the 85 Bears, they were 18-1 as well, and they won the Super Bowl. So they got a leg up on the 2007 Patriots for there. But their one loss was a highly publicized, very well remembered Monday Night Football game against the Miami Dolphins, an insane Marino game, and that loss just really sticks out for the 85 Bears. So they can't really make any claims to perfection either. But if a team went 15-1, or I guess 16-1 now, and that one was like a time they were resting their starters and then they won the Super Bowl, it's possible. It's possible that they could have a little sense there, but I don't know. It's romantic American nostalgia, actually. Undefeated, the perfect season. Yeah, you can't do it. I talk myself out of that. Though there's a podcast called The Perfect Season that is going on right now. Each week they have, you know, like interviews and stuff about the equivalent game. So they're kind of going through it 50 years later. So like this week, they went through week 7 when Miami shut out Don Shula's former team, the Baltimore Colts. And next week will, you know, be week 8. And then they're going to kind of go through the games. It's a cool way to kind of relive it or live it for the first time. Obviously, I was not born. All right. Mukilteo Football Show. This show is football everything. NFL history, legacy, the ups and downs of a season. Follow us on Twitter at MUK_football or YouTube. Subscribe, share, review on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you get your podcasts. We have shows Sunday after Sunday Night Football, Monday after Monday Night Football, and Thursday after Thursday Night Football. All right, let's get to the Sunday Best Awards. Reminder, we will be back tomorrow after Monday Night Football, after Bill Belichick looks to conquer Papa Bear Hallis in all-time head coaching record standings, whatever you want to call it. And the only team standing in his way is those very same Bears. Bears, do one more thing for Papa Bear Hallis. Anyway, Sunday Best Awards, just some random made-up awards that I'm giving out. More in-depth tomorrow when we talk about the winners and losers of Week 7. So let's get right to it. Sunday Best Awards. The Monotony and Death Award goes to Tom Brady. Referring to the Charlotte Bronte quote, "I feel monotony and death to be almost the same." I honestly don't know what to say about what's happening to Tom Brady. They've lost 3 in a row. This is so un-Brady. He's skipping practices. He missed those chunks of training camp. It's hard to come around to. It's been so long. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers have been in our life for so long. And it just feels like it's ending. And it's not 2015 Peyton Manning or 2022 Drew Brees, where their arms just ran out of gas. Brady's arm looks fine to me. It's all looks fine. It's like it just isn't working for some reason. We're just running on and off the field, trading glances with the punter. The Buccaneers losing to the PJ Walker Panthers today is the most surprising thing I think I've ever seen in regular season football. That Brady didn't bounce back from all the negative press attention. He always does. We're really seeing it, aren't we? Man, there's still a chance to bounce back, I guess, but I give this a monotony and death award because it wasn't anything. The box score tells the story pretty well. Like, people are going to spin narratives and stuff like that, but for once, the box score kind of tells the story. Brady, 290 yards, no interceptions, no touchdowns, 3 points. Just nothingness. What happened? We're just kind of playing in the middle of the field, running around the park for a while. And sure, if Mike Evans catches the easy big bomb to start the game, we've got a different story maybe going, or maybe at least a little less extreme. Then again, if the Carolina defensive back catches the last pass that Brady threw, which was right to him, then we've got a Brady interception, which would be the clip to show as the clear, like, Brady failure clip. So he kind of got away with 2 different things that won't exist to show this week of talk. So monotony and death award to Tom Brady. Next award. The next weekend is Halloween award goes to Scary Terry McLaurin for the Washington Commanders wide receiver. Mostly one of the things I like to do with these awards and just with the podcast in general is shed some light on things that even I may forget when we look back at the numbers. Terry McLaurin was a beast today. And yeah, it's 5 receptions on 8 targets for 73 yards and a touchdown. So it will fade into statistical obscurity. A kid 10 years later scanning through the 2022 week 7 for some reason will say, like, oh, okay, McLaurin, he was okay, but he was no Marquise Valdez-Scantling. 113 yards in week 7. Like, hey, don't laugh. I'm a Pro Football Reference scanner. It happens. McLaurin was the difference in this game. Taylor Heineke was imploding. My God, talk about Tua. Heineke should have had way more interceptions as well. He should have had a defensive fumble touchdown as well. It was negated by a ticky-tack illegal contact call. There's a reason that the Commander fans, in between chanting "sell the team" to Dan Snyder, by the way, agreed, sell the team, they weren't chanting Heineke in between their sell the team chants. They were chanting Terry. Because McLaurin had like 3 of the best plays of the week. He's got his touchdown, which was a good throw by McLaurin, by Heineke, and it's just this perfect over the shoulder catch right at the pylon by McLaurin. Oh, it's beautiful. It burns Jair Alexander, but it's the 2 plays on the final drive. So you're thinking, okay, the Packers have finally figured out that they should just throw the ball and give the ball to Aaron Jones. They've scored a touchdown. They're now within 2, and they're going to get the ball back and they're going to win this game with a field goal, surely. But instead, the Commanders basically bleed the clock out. I know the Packers got the ball later for a rambling Stanford band situation, but mostly the game was sealed by Terry McLaurin. First, he got a first down on along the sideline. He's about 5 yards away from the first down. again, along the sideline, and he somehow gets the first down and stays in bounds just by pushing back through the corners. Amazing play, kept the clock running, got the first down, and then, as Heineke's running for his life, throws up an absolute prayer, McLaurin comes down with that one for the first down, which gives them another 3 downs to waste the clock. So Terry McLaurin's the difference in this game. He won the game for the Commanders. It was impressive, it was awesome, and I don't know that it'll be remembered. So, this weekend before Halloween, remember Scary Terry. All right, next award. The Working Hard for Your Money award goes to Raiders running back Josh Jacobs. You know, I kid about this, about fantasy football and how Josh Jacobs has looked since he was drafted, but he truly looks like a different man this year. Like, what is up? Who is this guy? Josh Jacobs is running hard through. He's always been a good running back, and he's always broken tackles. Has been smart, but he looks powerful. He has more burst this year than I've ever seen him have. Okay, so let's see. Raiders are on bye week 6. So Jacobs' last 3 games. There's week 4, week 5, and then this week 7. He has 523 scrimmage yards with 6 touchdowns in 3 games. Last 3 games for Jacob, 523 total yards and 6 touchdowns. Holy crap. And a contract year. Works hard for the money. I mean, the contract year phenomenon, I don't really believe in it, but when it does happen, it's really interesting to me and really, really cool. You know, because a number of factors have to align. First of all, you have to be in a contract year. The team has to be willing to let you be there. You know, thinking of like 07 Randy Moss, you know. You have to be down for a year or two for the team to have you in that position, in that prove-it year where you've been on the team. And he's really hitting it out of the park. I'm sure Davante Adams being there is no coincidence. Davante Adams being a true difference maker on the outside is certainly no coincidence to the run game's success. But the Raiders, man, they sure getting it going with Josh Jacobs. And man, 2-4 is so important for the Raiders. I still think they have a chance. I still think they have a chance for the playoffs. All right, next award. Well, I guess the city of Philadelphia, the Ecstasy Award. How perfect is it that their 6-0 Eagles are on bye for them to watch their Philadelphia Phillies win Game 5 over the San Diego Padres and go to the World Series? Bryce Harper with the swing of his life. How perfect can this be for the city of Philadelphia? They're having a lot of fun right now. I keep seeing these memes about like, oh, you better grease up the street poles or something in Philadelphia because apparently they climb the street poles. So one of the things that the police or volunteers, I don't know who's doing this, but they grease up the poles so that people, I guess, can't climb there. Maybe that's the butter tub that the Pittsburgh DBs were sleeping in. A lot of butter and grease happening in Pennsylvania. All right, last award. The Unimportant Kevin Dyson Award goes to Christian Kirk and the Jaguars. So Kevin Dyson, of course, in the 1999 Super Bowl for the Titans, he catches a slant from Steve McNair, and he's tackled 1 yard short by Rams' Mike Jones. That kind of happened again today. It wasn't exactly a slant. It was a little bit more yards, but Trevor Lawrence threw to Christian Kirk, and time was expiring, and he gets stopped and thumped and stopped, and the game ends as he's being tackled at the 1 yard line. You don't see that very often. You see goal line plays happen, you know, at the one that end the game, but for it to be like a pass that gets and the receiver gets stopped by the defensive back or the linebacker at the 1 is just so dramatic. I can't think of a lot of times that has happened. Of course, this wasn't as big a deal, but I do want to give credit for Fabian Moreau, the Giants player, who really sent them to 6-1 here, because he's the one who makes that stop. He's not in the scrum, but he's the one who hits Kirk so that he doesn't get in. Anyway, Giants are 6-1. Weird.